And have you still got Dutch elm disease?
We have a bit, yeah, they go up to a certain point and then
Just die off.
drop off, really.
Yeah. This is quite a nice sort of curvy ride, isn't it?
Yeah, it's lovely.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And there's a few nice oaks.
There are some beautiful oaks in this wood. Hopefully they survive for a long while to come.
Yeah, you see there's quite a nice one. And it's got a big round crown. Yeah. The thing there is not to open them up too much.
Yeah.
Or else you get all that epicormic growth.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's
That's a
another,
nice one.
there is a big one there, isn't there? 3'6" in diameter. Huge crown. But the wind is starting to get to it because I don't know the way that you can see just in there we've got a snap branch and we're on wiggly cam there. Yeah. Wonderful. What about ash dieback?
We've got a lot of ash dieback. Quite a few of our woods being clear felled for it.
Yeah, I find that a bit. In our woods, you see, what we're trying to do is we've got an occasional bit of ash dieback, but the majority of it is in the smaller regen.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and we're just trying, but you can get 2 regen ash at like 8 foot high,
Yeah.
and then one will suddenly die, but the other one won't,
Okay.
and they're only like 2 foot apart.
Yeah, I think it's quite similar to the elm in that not all ash are going to die from the disease,
Yes,
but if you clear fell them, they all will.
yes, I agree.
So take out any that are diseased or showing signs of it and clear them, that's fair enough. But leave any that aren't yet,
Yeah.
because they may well yet be immune.
Well,
You won't
exactly.
lose your whole wood.
No, and what you're doing there is if you keep the majority of them, even if they're standing dead, because standing dead is a good habitat, isn't
Oh,
it?
it's fantastic.
Yeah. But then if you keep them all, then you're going to get seed, aren't you?
Yeah.
And apparently ash, because it seeds prolifically, has quite a wide genetic variation.
Ah, so the seeds could be immune even if the
Exactly.
parent isn't.
Exactly, which is why maybe 2 next door to each other, one dies, the other one's perfectly healthy.
Yeah.
So if you fell the whole lot, it's just like, you what?
Yeah. And if you drive around the countryside, so many of our woodlands are pure ash that if you fell all the ash in the country, we won't have any woods.
Exactly.
That's
Yes.
terrible loss.
And there's some people just driving it forward
Yeah.
as if they're just going, it's as if it's part of their business plan that will scare landowners, and then we'll go in there and make a fortune by felling all their ash and selling it as firewood. I think we're probably getting wind in the camera now, but never mind.
It'll decimate firewood markets and things because there'll be so much ash available that it just won't be worth anything.
Well, yeah, firewood markets are really difficult. Really difficult. Now, when I was looking back there, whoa, I've just moved the camera too fast there, sorry about that. It looked like these woods have been over-thinned. But looking here, they're not so bad here.
No, there's a lot left.
Yes. Maybe that's been over-thinned because it's nearest the gate.
Yeah. Oh, we've got a buck on there.
Oh yeah,
Buck.
I can just see if I can. There we go. Can't even tell in this camera. We're on wobbly cam again. It's zoomed right in. Whoa!
No, that's a buck.
Is it? Right. You got any new planting here?
So coming up, we've got a cross ride just coming up,
Yeah.
and then after that on the the left we've got a fairly new planting.
Yes.
On the right we've got really needs thinning really, but it's old softwoods.
Oh right, that'd be interesting.
And further through after that we've got a really new planting. It was last year before.
Yeah.
So that's all still in tree guards.
Ah, good. Yes. So that is it a fallow deer?
Yeah.
Doesn't even know. Oh, there it goes. It suddenly goes. Oh, we got somebody turning up.
They're fairly tame in here, really. They're not too bothered.
Even though they get shot.
Yes.
Right.
But there's houses that back onto this wood over there.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of those people feed the birds and things, so their deer
Oh.
are fairly used to people being back.
Right. So, and no doubt the deer go in their gardens.
I imagine so, yeah.
Yeah. We have problem with monkjack. Have to fence the veg plot.
Ah.
Because monkjack love strawberry leaves.
Oh, right.
They absolutely go mad for it. All right, so this block here
Yeah.
is some
There's a bit of-
Norway spruce, yeah, and oak
Yeah.
with intruded goat willow and stuff. And you're right, it wants a gentle thing, because that Norway spruce is sort of on its last legs. And if you can see, let me just get in there and I'll just show you. So here we go, we've got that Norway spruce, which has got just a furry top, yeah, but next to it we've got this lovely oak. So the Norway have drawn the oak up, and that is cracking, but it does want slight release, but not too much. Yeah. Do you know what? You could really make something of this block. Gentle thin, like 10%, and then come back in 5 years' time and another 10%. Yeah. Just favouring the best oak. It'd be amazing. And of course, some of these intruded broadleaves like that ash there is what, 6 inches in diameter at the bottom. So it's half decent firewood size. Interesting. Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad I grabbed the camera this morning. So Zoe reckons that's a magpie inkcap.
Got signal, I will feed them.
Interesting. Let's continue on. But that block there that we've just been in, you could really do something with that. And in 100 years' time, those oaks might actually make something half decent. And it looks like here, this has been thinned. Was it conifers taken out of here?
I don't know, it's why I came.
Right. It looks like it's been line thinned. And I can almost guess that there was 3 rows of Norway spruce and 2 rows of oak. And unfortunately, you see that oak tree there, just bent over, and there's another one that is, I'm having difficulty looking in the viewfinder here, there's another one snapped off, and there's another one down there bent over. So what's happened is they've taken out too much in these rows. Instead, if you had 3 rows of Norway, you would take out the, where are we? You would take out the far right hand side, the far left hand side, and leave the middle one in place. Yeah. And of course it's been done a bit late as well. Interesting. And then you've got a lot of, mind you, it might not have been Norway, because there's a lot of stools here of sycamore, but that could be just intruded sycamore. Interesting. Interesting how you could do it wrong so easily. Opening things up too quick. So we're in a little block of oak here, and some of them are quite nice. They're not over big, about maybe 5 inches in diameter, but as you can see, that does have the potential. And this was oak and Norway spruce. And if we look down there, we can see 2 rows of Norway spruce stumps. And zooming out again, you know, it is November, so we don't have dense canopy, but within the next couple of years we will have reasonable canopy closure on this. So it just goes to show that you can grow an oak and something else mix, but the something else has to grow at about the same rate. Yeah, and of course that depends upon the site and how much rainfall. No doubt in the west of the country, oak Norway might not work quite as well. But there you go. I can't really spin round to the left that much because the sun's that way, and you can see there's the sun's right over there. But the other thing here, and of course here's some Norway. They've been just taking out the final rows over here, and so these trees have been held back, as it were. Yeah, they're not as big, although they've got leaders, but there was quite a lot of intruded birch in here. But what I wanted to show you, nearly tripped over there, is just through here some real nice Scots pine against the blue sky. Underneath these ash. Now whether or not these ash will cope with being opened up so fast, I don't know, but we'll have to wait and see. But obviously we've got tall tubes because of the deer, but it looks like they planted goat willow there. That's a bit weird. There's an oak, and there's another oak here that the deer have been at, even though these tall shelters. And here we've got another shelter, and let's have a look down. Right down the bottom. Yeah, there's an oak there. Well, we can but see. I don't know what that is. It's a beech by the looks of it. Yeah. To my mind, it's always very difficult to know how much overstory you leave. Always really difficult. And I suppose the main thing is you can't really pass comment. But with this sort of thing, quite intense maintenance is required. Doesn't look like there's been any weed control for a while, beyond gamekeepers mowing. Is that right?
Yeah, we send a swipe through once a year.
Yeah.
Between the rows, or every other row where we can fit.
Right.
There's a lot of burdock in here this year.
Oh, so yeah, gamekeeper stuff.
But then we spray a little circle immediately around the trees.
Did you do that this year?
Once, yeah.
Once, yeah,
Quite
once.
early on there.
Yeah. And what was the idea of planting goat willow?
That I don't know.
No, I don't know either.
It can get quite wet at this end, but
Yeah.
I don't quite know what willow is.
No. And we're on an exposed edge by the looks of it. This is the edge of the wood. Yeah. We can but see. I mean, they're 2.5 meters apart. Something like that. Yeah. I have seen it on other sites where sort of semi-mature ash like that have been opened up from a dense canopy, and they do not like it at all.
Oh, the one behind us dropped a limb.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, a lot of these though, the crowns don't look what you would call healthy. Stunted and a bit knocked about. That one over there doesn't look too bad. Yeah, it's probably because it's had its head up there already. Anyway, thanks to Zoe for showing us around.
No problem.
And yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed this. And so we're in another wood, and there's an oak there. Bit of a big branch on the side, but it's there. And there's another oak there. Alright, it's got a lot of ivy on it that wants to go, because it's starting to get up in the crown. But it's one-sided because of this ash here. But they're a fair size, and these are, let me think, about 35 years old. And that one there is 12 inches in diameter. So these are the planting spacings. There's another oak there. So it's, you know, it's well due for a thinning. But it looks like they were planted about 3 meters apart. And this oak here, which is maybe 14 inches in diameter, has had some thinning around it, and we've got some natural regeneration ash there. And this one's been pruned, and it's really going for it. There we go, a big round crown against the blue sky. And it's got a white stripe round it, meaning it's a potential final crop tree. There's another one. So that last new planting we saw, where the trees looked very exposed, well, this planting was very exposed as well. Very, very exposed. And they've sort of got there, which is great. There's another one. It's got a little bit of epicormic growth on it, which is not a good thing. We need to keep the light levels down for that to die off. Anyway, that's what I was trying to say, is you can have trees exposed and planted in mixtures, and of course the mixture then allows for different species to grow in different ways, and you will see which ones are best for the site. Anyway, I shall leave it at that. I wanted to show you this. We've got a rack here. Yeah. And what looks like a modern bandsaw, but actually, apart from all the labels, that's just birch face plywood, and it's quite an old saw, which is great. Lovely old saws. There we go. And what is that, 4-foot wheels?
Yes.
Something like that. I'm just going to go down here and just that's the label. Gillets and Fills, France. So I probably mispronounced that quite badly. but you'll have to put up with that. Is this a push rack? Or is it powered?
Yeah, powered.
Powered rack?
Yeah.
Posh. Very posh.
Size of some of the timber we put on it, you wouldn't do it back then.
No. And you've got an electric winch there
Yeah.
for loading. And it is a posh one because there's a dust extractor that comes along down there and goes down into the wheel pit, which is down there. And there is the end of the dust extractor. So it just comes off the bottom wheel. There it is. Interesting. And that looks like a 4-inch band on there. Brilliant. It's nice to see these things in situ. It really is. Even though it's a little bit rural.
My granddad used it before me, but Dad used it before him.
Really?
I used it now.
Right, that's interesting. Did your granddad have all his fingers?
No, he lost that one.
Yeah.
When you used to trim trees out, when you have to climb up them
Oh yeah.
with an axe, trim them before you fell. During the war,
Right.
and he lost his fingers there because he did it with the axe. Was sharp them days, weren't they?
I bet that smarted a bit, didn't it?
Don't know. They tried to sew them on, but they went rotten. Apparently, they told me that. That's how he lost his fingers. He used to have to trim trees before he felled them because then it shattered, didn't it? So,
Oh yeah. Yeah, so you used to climb them?
he used to climb up them, trim them all out, all the beech trees,
Yes.
so they didn't break when they come down. And
Oh.
then, but that holding on, obviously,
Yeah.
lost his thumb on.
Yeah, it sounds lethal, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what
yeah.
they did then.
Yeah,
What was a
exactly.
limb?
And so you've used this saw a lot then, have you?
Yeah, yeah. 45 years just using it.
Yeah.
I've been around it a lot longer when my dad
Yeah,
was using
yeah,
it
yeah.
and my granddad.
Did he drag you in when you were at school and say, come and stand on the end of the saw and stuff like that?
You know what, I never had a school then.
Did you not?
No, I was always working in the woods or working in summer winching out track weeds.
Yeah,
15, I was pulling trees over the A1 with the county track and the winch.
right.
Nowadays it's close to roads and that.
I know.
Stand on the road, there's nothing coming, pull it in, you know. But he'd say nothing coming in, go and use his saw,
Yeah.
then we'd pull it in.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, nowadays it'd be, you'd have to have planning permission and everything.
And you have to close half the country down.
Yeah, just to fail to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Put them in with a winch.
So have you put some big oak on this saw then?
Yeah. But sometimes we have to split them first with the chainsaw
Because they're too big? Yeah. Oh,
If
right.
it makes that creek coming in, we used to use the loader.
Yeah,
Because you could get them straight home. But,
yeah. And what would that be, cutting fencing and stuff like that?
yeah, because it's so old, you're within something of something. So 5x3's all right, gate posts are all right,
Yeah.
posts are all right. Well, these come out all right, aren't they, really?
Yeah.
But if you really want something perfect, we used to have a planer, we used to run it through that and get it perfect.
Oh, to get it the right dimension.
But just general state use, you just,
Yeah.
it's all right.
Yeah, I mean, all this sort of stuff, maybe this building here, all this weatherboarding, was that cut on this saw, do you reckon?
No, this is a building, because there's people out there that complain.
Yeah.
You must have been around all these old sawmills before where they had a little arc shed over this and a little arc shed.
Oh, yeah, and
That's
everything
like-
else was outside.
This is tin, it's a little shed, it run this way and then one run that way, you just bring a tractor and load it in here and have this kind of
Right.
the little shed there. But we made a bit of money on the bypass, come through one of their woods.
Yeah.
And as these was complaining, they put this new shed up to
Oh, right.
the wood was to soundproof it.
Yes.
So no, that went up as this was redundant for a year while they put the building in.
Oh, I see. It's good to have an estate sawmill, isn't it?
Well, you'd think so, but
I know. The bean counters.
yeah.
Yeah.
I can cut gate posts pretty quick on here if I've got
Oh,
wood.
yeah.
It doesn't have to be good wood, be crap. Because it
Big knots in it, all sorts of
straight
things.
Through. It
Yeah.
has to be the best
Yeah.
wood.
But that's great. Thank you very much for that little bit of an insight on your granddad.
All right.
Yeah. It's lovely to see these things still here. Yeah. I mean, as I say, the bean counters get to them and say, oh, it's less profitable and all that lot.
If you think of the winter when it's really cold, you could be in here sawing away,
Yeah.
oblivious to what's going on there.
Exactly.
Just keep bringing wet wood in, keep going.
And
it's got a big stack when it dries out.
yeah. And also, because you're employed, you're going to be there anyway, so you might as well be doing some useful work.
Yeah, instead of just sitting around the shed in that fire, thinking,
Yeah.
it's too cold to go in.
Exactly. Oh, wood stoves are lethal when you're at work. Yeah. Once that room's warm, you'll never get anybody out of there. Yeah. Brilliant. Thanks very much.
Okay.
I'll leave you with this view. Hey? And you probably don't see it, but there's loads of little fine spiders' webs glistening in this low sun.